For those of you that are joining us on YouTube in the future, we fate weaved a little bit, we scryed a little bit, and we kept a very reasonable opening 7 here. We get to stick this Phenteo on 3. Man, I've missed just the turn 3 Phenteo and control beers. This card was great for a long time just because like a 1/4 body is pretty reasonable against most aggressive decks. When Asgard's Vengeance wasn't a card, and like it's like, hey, you better answer this thing or it's gonna like put eggs in your deck and run you out. Thunderfield Elder, huh? This run, I'm not quite sure what my opponent's doing. Probably bidding a Transmogrifade here. Not a 10 bidding an extra resource at this point. And Fate Weave a non-resource at the top of my deck. No, I don't have any Brides. I really don't. I think if you're trying to play Bride in a multi-shard deck, you probably want Uzu as the champion. Bride's kind of a mediocre card if you aren't enabling the 5 blood threshold pretty consistently. Holy crap, we're dead, huh? All right, well, I'm gonna put some eggs in my opponent's deck here. They're about to draw 4 cards. Well then, that's, yep, okay. That's a good turn 4. It's a good one. Dece plus. So long, Dreadlings, I suppose. So for those of you that aren't familiar with what just happened, they hit their Thunderfield Elder Prophecy onto a Arcane Soil, and then, yep, got us real good. Hit my champion power here. So I'm bidding a Transmog for now. Go ahead and put 3 regular eggs into my opponent's deck. They have another Arcane Soil. We're actually just gonna die. Alright. We're still dead, right? I can block 2 and then take lethal. So if I would have blocked with this last turn, I'd be +3, and then I'd be able to block 2 here, and then I could Transmog and stay alive potentially here if I'd have blocked last turn. Alright, the Arcane Focus has come in, cut the Transmogrifades. Not quite sure what our opponent's doing. The reanimation plan seems pretty poor, actually. So, like, all of our cards seem bad. I didn't block because they were drawing 4 cards and I wanted to put 3 eggs into their deck before they drew 4 cards. Which is probably the incorrect percentage play. Thanks, Spark. No, we were at 4. They were attacking with a bunch of things. I guess I'll leave these in. Just for like threat density. We won't know the card until probably, I guess I'll leave these in just in case they have like Windsinger in their deck. The Herofall's here too. Burgle's right. When I asked to play games, I should ask to play against the decks that I expect to be popular. Because building a control deck like this and then like running it into random combo decks, although, you know, random combo decks might be popular. Like the opponent's deck isn't terribly different from like the Furiko deck. Well, it's a little bit less explosive, right? Because like the Furiko deck could use its champion power to leverage. It's great. Smart enough to put 4 Withering Gaze in my deck. going on over here? Congrats on Exalted! Go Jara with the 5-month resubscription. Thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it. Welcome back. They are playing a Locket deck. Okay. This hand's a little bit medium. We really kind of need a, like a Phenteo or something to like get some velocity going here to like pressure them. Our Phenteo start last game would be good this game, but it doesn't look like they have a combo start this time around. We're just so far off of casting this. So opponent probably, you're not wrong, Bob. They probably only have 2, you're right. And they had it on 4 and 5. Well, you know, them's the beats. This is why you play 8 ice in your deck. When you play 8 ice, you often, miss. That's a tilt. You got some goldfish? Alright, we're done. Alright, anyone else? Next! Feel free to send me a challenge. Are there only 2 soils in your deck, Dowzo? Or Dows? That's funny. I guess you technically had 2 of them in your deck still because you Winter Mood 1 back in. It seems fine. 2 Seekers is a little bit clunky, but you can loot one of them away. You have Exarch to make the silk, have Exarch to make the silk work. I think we just put a resource on top of the deck here. Would not mind finding another one of those. Probably want to make blood with this. So Ruby Dreaming Fox, probably a Sapphire Ruby control deck. I went and used the Venom Shard this turn just in case they like have a Sabertooth or something to kill our Exarch of the Egg with. Focus. I guess they're this card is so much worse than. Thank you for the cheers, House of Bugs. I appreciate it. Even if there was my children have taken away most of my hair. I guess we'll Fate Weave for a non-resource here. That's decent. I guess I want to bin a Seeker rather than keeping 2 in my hand, especially if my opponent's like has an Into the Unknown. Like when I play this first one, having the second one in my bin is better than like losing it to an Into the Unknown. Huh. So they don't have double Sapphire, so Deny is not going to be an option here. They could have Discombobulate, though. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, House of Bugs. Welcome. Okay, huh. Is that all just resolved? Well, Phenteo for next turn, we have to go and put a non-resource on top of my deck. Still just nothing, huh? Runebind's a fantastic draw, because it means we can fight over this Phenteo here if they have something to interact with it. We're gonna attack for 1. You saw the Exarch of the Egg light up there when the Phenteo came into play, so often Exarch just dies, but Exarch actually triggers whenever another Venom comes into play in addition to itself, so this put an additional 2 regular spider eggs into my opponent's deck, so they have 4 eggs right now. I'm gonna go ahead and Runebind my Phenteo here in response to the Sabertooth. See if there's something to fight over this or not. We put a non-resource on top of my deck here, but next turn I could probably get my champion power. Arcane, a critty. It's pretty good with Withering Fox, right? It's probably better than Swamp Butt. Alright, well, we'll play this out, so that way we get to trigger both of these and put 4 more eggs in their deck. And then we'll play this at my champion power. If the champion power hits a resource, it'll put the Phenteo back into play and put 4 more eggs in their deck. I'm gonna Transmog here. I want to play these Seekers out. Looking for a resource not only to play these, but to recast the Phenteo. Runebind, yep, that's pretty good. Alright, well. Ship here. I mean, like, this is just a pretty good example, too, of why, like, you know, trying to play control decks in formats that aren't completely established is a bad idea. And, like, people are talking about, like, Diamond Sapphire control being the real problem. Like, Diamond Sapphire control is going to be much weaker in this new format because people are playing things like what Spurt's playing and, like, what my last opponent was playing. Like, people are going to try new things, and, like, control decks are not fantastic when they keep constantly getting paired into things they're not prepared for. So that's why things like the Bloodwild Deathcry deck, and even honestly just, you know, the Mono Ruby deck without Lasgar's Vengeance are going to be very, very reasonable still in this new format. It's like being proactive pays off. This game is a good example of, like, why Exarch of the Egg is, like, reasonable against control decks in addition to being a good 1/3 lethal that's a ground pounder. Like, the fact that this card's gonna be able to block more consistently now is great because there's no more Lasgar. And the fact that it puts extra eggs to find later into the opponent's deck is fantastic. There's a resource, we get to recast both of these. Don't really want to Massacre against the control deck, so let's grab this Focus. Alright, I found a Weave into nothing. Let's focus, see what we find. The illusion of choice. You want a different show? Why don't you pick the one you like? Which picture do you like? You want Octonauts? No Octonauts? Which one do you want? You want Oso? You want Canimals? Alright. You want this one? Alright, let's lead on Focus here, see what we find. Alright, another Phenteo's not bad. And again, opponent, like, needs to answer the board and then, like, beat through the threats in our hand as well. Candlelight killing my guy, yep. So now, all of my opponent's actions are going to illuminate when they play them. We want to play this Eternal Seeker and get rid of their constant, so pick one, void that. We've got a good board presence. They're actually dead on board, right? Because we've got 2 unblockable power and then 5 power in the air, so they're going to need another way to beat through these for sure. Candlelight's a card that's really interesting. I'm not sure if this card's good enough. Like, the fact that its reach is kind of neat. It really just competes with Psychic Ascension, though, and I'm not sure if it can exist as a reasonable control finisher in a world where you could, like, also be playing Psychic Ascension. It does 6 damage to something, and then, like, it gives all of your other actions illuminate once they start making candles. Which is, like, certainly powerful, but, like, is it better than just Psychically Ascending? Does not look like it's going to be good enough there. Let's cut these Massacres. Let's cut these Transmogrifades. Might be a matchup where I don't have quite enough to bring in again. I'll leave a couple Massacres in just in case they go off with candles and we can get rid of all of them. Yeah, so I'm leaving in 1 Transmog, and Massacre's actually a double answer to Phoenix in addition to being an answer to the candles because it gives it -3/-3 permanently. And remember, in Hex, we track modifiers like that through zones. The deck tracker on the side of my thing here is actually one that I wrote in Python. If you look at my GitHub page, you will find it there. Yes, actually, so subscriber and community member Sparrow had a Tri-Shard candle deck that we played at the start of the season that felt like it was doing some really powerful things, but it just like came up a little bit short against Lasgard's Vengeance because like it was just like trying to go wide, and I think that's something I want to revisit too as well. And this curve is just going to be very powerful. We're going to get to like double Withering Gaze them into Phenteo, so like take your answers out of your hand. They don't actually have a resource here, huh? So I'm going to take the Pyre Strike, and then I'm going to take the... I'm going to take the Weave out of their hand. And a card like Withering Gaze is the reason why Blood Sapphire control is probably favored in a control mirror against something like Sapphire Diamond. Because we can use Withering Gaze to punch a hole through in whatever defenses that they're putting up, so we can make sure that like, the important cards that we're playing resolve. Yeah, I contribute to a number of open source projects, and what little spare time that I have, the Linux distribution that I helped create and still maintain during college. A whole bunch of stuff on my GitHub page. We know their last 2 cards are the runic cards. And again, we mentioned earlier, Phenteo is just like this reasonable guy because he gets in the way of stuff that like the troops my opponents put into play here. Would have been a Massacre here, I think. I'm just gonna go ahead and Withering Gaze one of the 2 runic cards out of their hand. We drew their Weave into nothing. Which is funny, we can actually play this Weave because it's double blood since Withering Gaze changed it. I don't think it is. My personal website's linked below, and that has a link to my GitHub page on it. If we hit a non-slow shard, I'm probably just going to Massacre the board. Because, like, these things keep dealing 1 damage to me whenever my opponent gains a charge, and, like, this gives them charges whenever they play an action. Some eggs in your deck. Non-slow shard would be ideal here. Alright, Exarch. I actually don't think Swamp Butt's a very good card. It's, like, adorable in what it does, but, like, it's not particularly powerful. I'm playing the Exarch of the Egg out here so that way I can start activating Phenteo more aggressively. It's a little bit awkward when we draw the Massacre, but it's not the end of the world. Maybe I should have held up the Weave into nothing here because of this runic upheaval. That's probably the case. Just like don't activate this and pass, then hold up the weave for that. Put another resource on top of my deck here, and the reason why I'm putting a resource on top aggressively is because we need a second Sapphire to activate my champion power anyways. I also wouldn't mind getting to 7 to cast this Eternal Seeker. Man, 9 tarantulas and 2 regular spiders in their deck, and we hit the regular spider first. We're gonna get nickel and dimed out by these arena regulars. I'm gonna go ahead and weave this into nothing, I think. Just because, like, I don't want them to recast this. Gross. Alright, well. Resource on top of my deck here. No way to my champ power for a turn. Yeah, definitely. I think there's going to be a lot of go wide strategies that become popular, and I think Massacre is going to be very reasonable against them. Massacre is also like a fine card for helping you catch up in a Deathcry mirror match post board too. And like, if you're the Deathcry player with the Massacre, you can like engineer the board in a way that's like going to be favorable for the Massacre for you. I think the big mistake I made this game was letting the Runic Upheaval resolve. That turn I played, Hold on to this shard for now. If I draw like an ice next turn, I'll ice, put a non-resource on top of my deck, and then loot away this resource. I have 1 resource for this Runebind anyways. Well, their deck's almost a quarter eggs at this point. We're down to 7 here, so getting dangerously close to dead. Alright, well, I guess that. Hit this. Waltz is very good in the mirror. It's like an I win card in the mirror, essentially, right? Put my auto pass on here. Where are my tarantulas at? I forgot how tilting Phenteo is as a hex card. I don't think I could ever actually register this in a tournament that I cared about. Declan Scott, you asked me to put this show on, and now your brother is watching it, and I'm not changing it again. Sorry, I know life is tough. I like how they made the Oracle Saga that decided not to use it. I'm going to leave this back just in case they play a quick action that makes a candle. I have a chump blocker. And we're dead. No, oh, I shouldn't have conceded. Oh, there were so many tarantulas in their deck. I shouldn't have conceded. Declan Scott, you are distracting me with your crying. You are distracting me, and Dad didn't think about the eggs. So we're a 25% chance to not lose there. Tilt. Womp womp. Womp womp womp. Phenteo did all that work. It could have paid off. Phenteo, he punched the clock and he put in so much work. Forgot I had live draws on their deck. Yeah, it's fine. Not exciting, but fine. Yeah, like, obviously we're not guaranteed, but, like, to just hit the concede button there and say we have no outs is incorrect. And, like, waiting 20 seconds for them to untap and draw a card isn't a big deal. Maybe I'm supposed to double gaze here so I could Heart's Whisper Extra to not worry about anything. I'm gonna take their Whisper here. Probably play our own Whisper next turn. They could Runebind it, but I don't really care about that. It's a good one to have. I'm gonna wait on my champion power. There's nothing else we can play this turn anyways, so I might as well get one extra card deeper in my deck. Because, like, for instance, if we hit a Seeker, I can bend the Seeker and then Mordrom's gift it back, which is nice. Get rid of their constant. It's like that. I think, so we know they have, oh, what's it called in their hand, right? We know they have a, an Interrupt. Don't need another Massacre, so this is probably just gonna get weaved. But we're, like, hitting our shard drops here. We're probably going to take the weave anyway, so they might as well just weave and keep us out of their hand. Next turn, we get to Mordrom's Gift and try and slam our fatty into play. Yeah, unfortunately, Dia Bunny, the window, if you're trying to use the Windows binaries, they don't actually work currently because, the upstream tool that I depend on hasn't recompiled their update for Windows, so you actually need to install the Python version and manually run it if you want it to work. That's why other people haven't been using it. I haven't had time to figure out how to make the upstream code work properly. And, like, it works running the code manually for my stream, so it hasn't been a super high priority for me. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna take one more hit from that. It gives them a chance to draw another one of these as well. Actually, maybe I wanted a resource there. That's fine, I drew a resource anyways. This is down to 8. Sweet. Drew a Seeker, excellent. In a pretty good spot here. So I'm going to go ahead and focus plus Massacre this turn. And we found a Withering Gaze. Excellent. So the reason why this sets us up to be able to Psychic Ascension next turn with Runebind up, hopefully. If my opponent tries to interrupt this, I'm going to Runebind them in response. You're Runebinding me. Huh. Okay, I'll fight over that. Wants to fight? Wants to fight? So we took their Psychic Ascension. They do have a Sabertooth in their hand, which is, like, pretty real. I guess our Psychic Ascension's probably gonna bury it. Alright, so they're gonna Sabertooth us for 5. I think that actually means I want to Eternal Seeker next turn as opposed to PA. We took our socks off and now we're upset that we took our socks off. It's tough being 2. It's tough. Okay, now since I drew this, I'm gonna go ahead and ascend so it's like to make a guaranteed chump blocker. I should have hit this first so I make an educated decision. Alright, not that I have a decision. The illusion of choice there. Dread End, sure. I guess this line is bad because it leaves us dead to another Sabertooth. I guess it's kind of medium against a resource too, because I could Runebind my Tactician. And now we're dead to... We might just die to this. Yeah, I probably should have... Suffocate's a good draw. We could just die to this. Been this Dread End for now. Did I play Resource yet this turn? I don't remember. I did not. Sweet. So that means I can put this out. And still have Suffocate up. Oh, I could Eternal Seeker the Rune. Yeah, that's true. That's probably better. That's true. I could have Seekered the Rune away. That's probably would have been. I got so focused on the Suffocate that I was like, that's all I could do. But yeah, Seekering the Rune seems like it would be a good line. Alright, well, let's try and kill them before they kill us. Leave back one of these as an extra blocker just in case. We gotta dodge Candlelight, basically. Which I guess Candlelight's better than PA here. Like, we're definitely beating a PA, but we're dead to a Candlelight. Alright, gotta fade one more turn here. We only have to fade for one turn, so let's just take a look here and not have any surprises happen. Huh. They conceded without taking their draw step. Alright. Anyone want to play one more match before I wrap it up for the afternoon? Feel free to add me in client and send me a challenge. Good game, Spurt. Alright, we got the last one for the afternoon. Pretty easy redraw here. It's okay. Like, not super excited, but fine. My opponent's champion. Target troop gets when this deals damage to a champion, bury the top card of that champion's deck. Alright. Messes with Fate Weave, I guess. This card champion is really low starting health total for a kind of mediocre ability. Hi, Declan.
Say hi to the internet. Say hi to the internet. Right here, Declan.
Oh, he's been here. Right he's been saying hello. He knows what he's doing. He's a monster. Focus. You want the Theorize? Theorize is probably fine. This card, when it deals damage to me, it puts eggs in my deck. So I guess that's cute. I get to like have put eggs in berry. Tiny monster on my head. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. Like Herofall this thing when they put a thing on it. Yep. All right. Just gonna do this into Heart's Whisper here. I ain't looking for Eternal Seeker to like clean up random stuff like this. Kind of. It's more of a control deck. It's a good hit. Looking for Mordrom's Gift now. Man, so in case you were unaware, after they make you exalted, they program it into Hex that you can ask for whatever cards you want to be on top of your deck, and it'll immediately be on top of your deck. As we exercise there, ask for Seeker, got Seeker, ask for Gift, got Gift. I can only use that power a couple times a day, but it is there when I need it. It's another Exarch of the Egg. Sure, so that means we're gonna get to, these are all 2-drops, so we're gonna get to loot with our champion power, and then hopefully we draw a bunch of spider eggs here. Tilt. I'm gonna put a non-resource on top of my deck here, so hopefully we put a spider egg on top. We'll loot, hopefully draw a spider egg, rats, spin the Eternal Seeker, Mordrom's Gift our Seeker back out, and then void all their 2-drops. It's a streamer power. And like, honestly, Seeker's the type of card that like, I really want to try and find some kind of controlling deck that has Seeker in it. Oh, that's kind of scary. That's really interesting. So, huh. Okay, whew. We found an answer to this thing. So this thing was going to, when a spider comes in, it would deal damage to us, and then when it would deal damage to us, it would bury us with their card. Oh my god, Jin, does that exist somewhere in the internet? If you find that and clip it, there will be a prize for you. If you find that and clip it, there's a prize involved. This puts 8 spider eggs into my deck, sure. There's another Transmog. When this deals damage, bury. So I probably want to wait on this, because they're probably going to spread that out a little bit more. Heart's Whisper here. It might be right that I'm just supposed to stop drawing cards and kill them with my things instead of giving them more spider eggs here. All right, I'm not going to play this Theorize out. I'm just going to attack for 5 here. Keep their 2-1 at bay. Assume they're going to attack with both of these. I'm going to go ahead and transmog the one that mills me and then probably block it with my Exarch of the Egg so to lose unblockable. Dreadhead, sure. No reason to Runebind anything just yet. We basically want to save Runebind to protect our Eternal Seeker. In case they draw a piece of removal. Remember, this card's very powerful because of how flexible it is. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is actually going to be a great example of how powerful and flexible Runebind is. I'm going to go ahead and attack with this. And then I'm going to put a resource on top of my deck here. And then I'm going to go ahead and Runebind my Eternal Seeker. And then I'm going to Theorize into that resource that's on top of my deck and replay my Eternal Seeker and kill their Vilefang Emirate here. Discard that. Eternal Seeker comes back. So Exalted is an award that Hex gives out to different community members every year. This year they picked 3 of them with in 3 different categories. And basically the rewards for it, I get to pick one thing that everyone that has a Hex account gets. I have to look over and see what those are exactly. It's mainly a way for Hex to say thanks, right? Yeah, if you look on the website, they commission artwork in the Exalted player's image that eventually gets used on a card in-game. So they don't find a removal spell here, they're dead to the Eternal Seeker.
What do you want?
Hey, Diablo Fiery Soul with the brand new $4.99 subscription. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I haven't plugged subs yet today, but subscriptions are the best way you can support my content here, and I really appreciate that that next level of support. Welcome. It's also September here on Twitch, so also new subscribers are half off on the channel. So if you've thought about subscribing to me in the past, now is a great time because it costs you half as much through the end of the month. I don't think I want Withering Gaze. Just gonna click submit, just bring in the Strangles to like kill the Emirates. I mean, yeah, this hand seems great, right? Like we've got, we need a second Sapphire in order to activate our champion power to loot the Seeker away, but assuming we find the second Sapphire, we're going to be able to put a Seeker into play on turn 4. Well, I appreciate the support, Diablo. Found the Sapphire right away. I'm going to take the other Mordrom's Gift here, actually, just in case my opponent has a piece of removal for the Seeker the first time we play it. I'm going to put a non-resource on top of my deck this time around. Probably a little bit later than that, Seth Spark. Oh, wait, huh. Well, that was a mistake. I didn't see what they played when I played my resource. So I need a Sapphire off of this so I could hit my champion power. But I need to take this Librarian off the table, almost certainly. which means I kind of want a Herofall. But I can't Herofall. So, like, I would have just waited to hit my champion power till next turn. So if I want to be resource efficient here, I have to Heart's Whisper. But I think I just don't want to be resource efficient. I just want to keep their Librarian off the table. This card, every time it hits us, it buries the top 4 cards of our deck and then lets them take one of them and put them into their hand. So it lets them draw off our deck, essentially, which is scary. This is just a different deck hack. This is not an all-in, like, combo reanimator deck. This is, at its core, this is a control deck with, like, Phenteo and removal and interaction and card advantage. So they haven't really put that many eggs. Oh, they played the skittering thing. So there's 10 eggs in my deck right now. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Mordrom's Gift back my Seeker now and wipe out all the 2s. And then next turn, I could Herofall this Emirate. The Hex team just does everything. All I know is that my picture goes on a card. Hopefully it involves a Silver Talon Adjudicator, though, because there's a bird in the artwork. Let's get rid of all these dorks out of their deck. Start cracking them down for 5 at a time here. Kind of wanted that resource opponent. That's fine. We're gonna go ahead and use this in Fate Weave for a resource. Put another resource on top of my deck, and then next turn I can Champ Power plus Mordrom's Gift back this other Eternal Seeker. And this is why, so like, I was talking about control decks being kind of at a tough spot in a new format because, like, you don't know what exactly you're controlling against. But, like, the fact that this deck is, like, a controlling deck that has something like Eternal Seeker where you can just, like, do this objectively powerful thing on turn 4 kind of gives it, like, a little bit of an edge to, like, fight through some of the more random things you're going to play that people are going to be experimenting with. Oh, right, they're milling. It's just going to mill my thing. That's sad. Find a resource anyways, maybe? Never lucky. Tilt. Alright, well, this lets me bin this Eternal Seeker, I guess. Lunacy. Yep. Not quite lethal spiders yet.
Hey, don't do that.
I really don't mind if they bury a bunch of cards here and get more spiders, because my Mordrom's Gift's going to bring back this other Eternal Seeker next turn to just, like, wipe out all their 2s. So... they're also just, like, dead to this, right?
Stop hitting your brother. We don't hit our brother. No hitting!
I only have one resource up here, so my Runebind should be able to protect this Mordrom's Gift in the event that they have a Runebind of their own. GG's, Assassin. All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because, as you can see in the background behind me here, We have lots of tiny children running around screaming. And they would like some attention. I'm gonna run around and scream with them a little bit. Crazy kids. Thank you everyone for watching. I will catch you around. And remember, tomorrow on the main Hex CCG channel, I haven't plugged this at all today either. My plug game's been terrible today. Matt Pamonte and I will be doing official Bash coverage on the main channel. I'm going to be hosting it on this channel as well for the Bash tomorrow. Last hurrah for Last Guards Vengeance. So I'll catch you all around, and then first thing Monday when the ban happens in effect, that'll be noon CST. We will be streaming Ladder here on this channel for Standard Constructed without Last Guards Vengeance. So long, powerful Ruby action.